So welcome back to this next episode of the emotional series, where I'm going to try and share some understanding of some of the common emotions that I and people that I work with experience. And the intent is really to help you recognize some of these emotions, understand them a little bit more, and accept that they're part of being human, rather than judging yourself or the emotion as bad for experiencing them. And so in this next one, what I'm going to talk about is frustration. And frustration is a really common emotion. And I didn't realize, but now I recognize that it starts when we're super young. And I also think there's a lot of wisdom from watching very young babies and kids experiencing frustration, because the information or the invitation that it gives us to recognize it and appreciate it is huge. So I've watched Jack be frustrated now, and it is leading to massive amounts of development and learning and like that expansion into the world. When he wants something, he gets so frustrated when he can't have it that the mobilizing energy he has to move towards it is huge. And if he again is held back from getting what it is that he wants, the turmoil it causes him is huge. So what I learned from watching him be frustrated is that it has helped him learn to crawl, to stand, to reach, to grab, to curiously expand into the world and get or experience or touch and taste and feel and all this kind of stuff off what's in the world. And frustration, when you can't have that, is the energy that moves you towards it. Now we'll apply it to an organizational setting. Let's say you're an MD, a CEO, a leader in an organization, or running your own business, and you have an expectation of what the future should look like or should be. And the reality is, your staff are resisting the change, they're holding back, they're continuing to operate in a way that reinforces the past. The gap, your expectation and reality, is frustration. And there's a lot of mobilizing energy there. And typically it can turn to anger. We get frustrated with people and want them to move quicker. But that's unhelpful, because you're gonna reinforce the energy towards the resistance. That will hold people back because it will keep them stuck and afraid of taking any other action. And you also just will deteriorate the relationship because trust could decrease. So frustration is normal. It's actually one of the most common emotions that leaders in industry face. So what I want to try and do now is just kind of share that understanding, but also now give you a couple of things that can help. So one, again, it'll always come back to when we understand the emotion, we get curious about it. What is it that's causing me frustration? Typically, it's going to be move faster, people. Go quicker towards the future that I imagine. That's one. Standards is another one. So I have a standard for how I operate and people aren't meeting it. So I have an expectation and the reality is different. Anytime you notice that those two things are different, it is an invitation to get curious about that. The second step is acceptance of reality and an invitation for staff, organization, yourself, to move one step closer to the thing that you expect or the standard that you have. Because too much too quick is overwhelming for a nervous system and they will retreat back, as will you. We're built for homeostasis, and that doesn't matter if you're an individual or a group or an organization. So that's the second one. So it was curious, then it was accept reality. Next, it's express the frustration away from people somewhere. I talked about this in the anger series. Express it in the gym, scream in the car, get frustration out of your system. Mobilize that energy away from people and get it out of your system, because it's going to deteriorate your interior if you allow it to shape your experience for too long. And it will deteriorate relationships if you allow it to play out there as well. So although it's a common emotion, getting curious about it, accepting that it's a normal emotion. Again, it's biologically two things. It's high heart rate, increased cortisol in your system. Helps you understand, get curious, move through the emotion, maintain relationships, and then you can move on to the next emotion, which would be something like excitement. Because when you allow your body to accept the emotion and the reality that it's in, you can more easily then feel safe, and that will allow a different range of emotions like excitement in. So how can I be excited about bridging that gap between where I want the organization to go and where people are? How can I get excited about the learning that I'm going to get here from moving my team and understanding where they're at and getting them through the messy middle of change towards something that's better for them and better for the organization? There's an excitement there that just comes from changing the meaning that we apply to both the emotion, but also to the people that we interact with. So hopefully that's interesting. Hopefully something that you can use today as well around that emotion of frustration. And I'm looking forward to talking to you in the next episode of this emotion series.